I woke up skinny again tomorrow morning, 60 kgs, stuck, frustrated, unable to grow, here is the exact 4-step process I would use to get back to my current physique as soon as possible. My name is Matteo, I've gained 17 plus kgs of muscle naturally, and I now specialize in helping skinny guys break through of their current weight plateau and finally hit their dream physique. Step number 1 is most skinny guys I coach, their main issue is often the nutrition. The biggest thing I see is everything is completely random. Food choices, no structure, skipping meals, replacing proper meals with like light snacks, that's not gonna cut it. So the main thing we focus on with my clients is having an eating structure that you can commit to long term. This is the basis that will allow you to be consistent long term. If you have no structure, you are unable to apply consistency. So what does that look like? Maybe that's having 3 meals and 1 snack consistently for you every single day. No matter what, that is your current nutrition structure. Then you can go into which foods, high calorie dense foods, but you need to have the base of the pyramid first. Once that is figured out, then you can distribute your calories into those different meals, design high calorie dense meals, but without structure at first, without those 3 meals, 1 snack, 2 big meals, 2 snacks, whatever it is for you, you will struggle to be consistent. Then it's how do you structure that based on your day? How do you hit it when you're at work? All of that requires some planning and organization if you're new to this. But over time, it becomes natural because it becomes a habit. But you have to initially use that period of time to implement structure into your diet. Otherwise, everything will keep staying random and you'll keep getting random results. So instead of one day skipping breakfast, one day having a mini lunch, it's like, all right, every single day you have a consistent high calorie breakfast, then you have your lunch, you have your snack before your dinner. You have to take 10 minutes, 15 minutes to set up a structure that you can commit to long term. Then we can get to like what's in which foods, how many calories are you consuming per meal, sorry. But that is the first step. Structure of your nutrition. For a bunch of guys that I coach, it's like we have 3 meals, 1 snack. So they'll have an initial high calorie breakfast every single morning. So generally that's maybe some eggs, avocado, a couple nuts, and maybe a piece of fruit like a banana. And that is like 800 plus calories. That way, you're not chasing your calories later in the evening. You're starting the day, getting closer to your goal, to your daily calorie goal with a high calorie breakfast. Super, super helpful. Then they have a couple meals throughout the day. At work, they'll have their lunch, they'll have their official snack, and then they'll have their dinner. But it's like 3 meals, 1 snack, that structure. And then you can look at each meal individually and have maybe 2 fixed meals that you design once, high calorie dense meals that you can have consistently, that are quick, easy to make. Maybe you have a snack that's high calorie dense and your breakfast that are fixed, and then you're already getting 1,500 calories plus, and then you're only missing 1,300, 1,400 in your 2 main meals. So that is the base of nutrition first. The second pillar is training. I'd stop going to the gym randomly with a random plan. I'd go in there with a strength progression plan with the goal of getting stronger on 4 to 5 key lifts. So for me, that would be weighted chin-ups, a form of row, a press like a incline bench press, an overhead press, and maybe like some dumbbell Bulgarian split squats. Those are the key bread and butter that would push my physique forward. If I can add 20 kgs to those lifts over like 6 months, that is incredible. My body's gonna grow as a byproduct. So instead of focusing on the weight gain, I would use the fuel of my nutrition to drive my performance. I would be focused on performance because that's really what's gonna drive your physique forward. If you're just gaining weight, but your lifts aren't consistently going up, you're not pushing your sets as close to failure, most of that weight is gonna be fat. And that is the worst place to be in because otherwise you'll end up skinny fat, you have to cut again, it's a whole mess. Focus on performance in the gym. Have a plan that you can stick to, sustainable. For me, that's 3 times per week. I love my approach and that's why I can stick to it and be super consistent over time, is because it just applies to my lifestyle. It's not forced. Some days I don't want to train, obviously, but I still get it done. That is training, driving the needle forward. Every single session, ask yourself, did I push the needle forward? Did I push myself and did I increase my numbers from last week? That is so important. If you spend 3 weeks, 4 weeks at the same strength level, you're not going to be building muscle whatsoever. Number 3 is tracking my data. When everything is random, when you step on a scale 1 day out of 7, when you track one of your performances, one of your lifts, it's very hard to make correlations on what's working, what you need to adjust, what you need to change. If I started again, I would track 3 things: my calories, my protein, my daily weigh-ins, and my performance. That's 4. Essentially, that is all you need. When it comes to the gym, you're tracking every single one of your numbers. I have one progression model that I follow consistently to get stronger on my lifts. And it's not wishing, it's if this happens, we do this, if this happens, we do this. Like, physical transformation is pure math. This is the way you get to your goal predictably, is through data. If everything's random, if you don't have any numbers to make decisions upon, you're not going to be getting there very fast. You might gain weight too fast. That weight's not going to be muscle. You're going to end up skinny fat, or worse, you're going to be putting a lot of effort and not seeing any results or finding the true issue holding you back. So track those 4 key things and make sure you're always moving in the right direction. If you're not, one of those 4 key things needs to be adjusted. Generally, with my clients, the only key things you need to change is protein stays fixed, so 0.82 grams per pound of body weight. But it's generally the calories based on the client's goal. So we're tracking their daily weight, and if we need to adjust, decrease or increase their calories based on the goal that we define, that's exactly what we do. And the training, like if form is not the best, then we decrease the weight to make sure we confirm form, confirm training intensity before building back up with a better training execution. Getting in shape is not random, like it's pure numbers. We track a couple key things, so the 4 things I mentioned, and based on those, based on the videos as well of their lifts, I can pinpoint exactly what's wrong. And it's always data or their training form. So we're not wishing, we're not doing everything random. You have to be tracking your data consistently. That's exactly how I gained 17 plus kgs of muscle naturally, how my boy Lucas gained 10 plus kgs in 1 year. It's through data. No data, random decisions, random results. Track your data. It can be very simple. It takes less than 5 minutes per day. When you're in the gym, it takes literally 2 minutes to write what you're doing. Tracking your food takes what? Less than 5 minutes per day with some experience. And then stepping on the scale, that takes 30 seconds. So that's 7 minutes per day to get one step closer to your goal and know exactly if you're on track. Definitely worth it. And number 4, I'd realized that this transformation will not happen overnight. For me, it took me 8 years of trial and error, making mistakes, being stuck multiple times. I was stuck for 2.5 years at one point at 65 kgs. It's like, this is going to be a journey. Let me have an approach that I can sustain long term. Not being focused on 2 weeks, mini sprints with unsustainable approaches, that is setting yourself up for failure. What can you commit to for the next 5+ years of your life? It's not going to take 5 years, but that is the mindset you want to have when starting your fitness journey. When it's your nutrition, your training, can I commit to this for the next 5+ years? If the answer is yes, fantastic. You just have to tweak a couple things when it comes to your system. If the answer is no, then you have to reassess. This is not a sprint, like it's a long-term game, it's a marathon. The goal is not to be in shape for next summer and then yo-yo every single year. It's to get to your goal, maintain the habits, the frameworks, to then be able to maintain it for the rest of your life. So imagine being 27 years old, you're not focused on being in great shape in 2 months, you think one step ahead, like in chess. Where do you want to be 2 years from now? 1.5 years from now. Then you set up the habits and frameworks for long-term success. Can I maintain this long-term? If yes, fantastic. That way, let's say you're 27, say you take 2 years to build your dream physique, so you get to 29 years old, you look incredible, your belief is a lot higher, you feel 100% comfortable in your own skin, and obviously that's going to impact every single facet of your life, but it's like now you've got your whole 30s to enjoy that, and you have everything to maintain it long-term. So it's like, stop taking the shortcut, stop thinking 2 weeks, 2 months ahead, think 2 years. And long term, like even if it takes you 6 months more, 1 year more, you've done it correctly, you didn't take one step forward, one step back, you will be so happy you reach your goal. So focus on the long term, relax, 1 to 2 years to get to your goal, do it properly, that is what it takes. And this is the exact system I now help skinny guys go through, go from stuck and frustrated at their current weight, unable to gain muscle, to building their dream physique, feeling 100% comfortable in their own skin, without mass gainers, without living in the gym, without relying on unsustainable diets. If you want to know more about my system, feel free to go down below. There's a free training. And with that said, I'm wishing you a great day.